The thunder of naval guns echoed across the North Sea on May 31, 1916, as steel giants clashed in the largest naval battle of World War I, the Battle of Jutland. It was a titanic confrontation between the British Royal Navy's Grand Fleet and the German Imperial Navy's High Seas Fleet. Shells streaked across turbulent waters, battleships erupted in towering columns of smoke and fire, and the fate of maritime dominance hung in the balance. For the first time, dreadnoughts and battlecruisers dueled on a scale the world had never seen, and in that violent crucible, naval strategy, bravery, and miscalculation all collided. Welcome to History in a Hurry. I'm Professor Malcolm Mazur, and in this episode we will learn about the Battle of Jutland during World War I. The Battle of Jutland was fought between May 31st and June 1st, 1916, off the coast of Denmark's Jutland Peninsula. It was the only full-scale clash of battleships in World War I and involved around 250 ships and over 100,000 sailors. The main adversaries were the British Royal Navy's Grand Fleet, under the command of Admiral Sir John Jellicoe, and the German High Seas Fleet, led by Vice Admiral Reinhard Scheer. Both nations hoped for a decisive victory that would tilt naval supremacy in their favor. Prior to the battle, the Royal Navy had maintained a powerful blockade on Germany, choking off supplies and crippling the German economy. The German Navy, though smaller, was highly advanced and aimed to break this blockade, or at least weaken British dominance by isolating and destroying portions of the Grand Fleet. The Germans crafted a plan to lure out and trap part of the British fleet using a smaller force under Vice Admiral Franz von Hipper as bait, drawing them into the path of Scheer's full fleet. The British, however, had a secret advantage. Thanks to their code breakers at Room 40, they had intercepted and partially decoded German communications, allowing them to anticipate a major naval movement. As a result, Admiral Jellicoe mobilized his fleet to intercept the Germans. On the afternoon of May 31st, the two forces met in the North Sea. The initial skirmishes occurred between the scouting forces of both fleets, mainly battlecruisers. Hipper's German battlecruisers exchanged devastating fire with the British battlecruiser force, led by Vice Admiral Sir David Beatty. This phase, known as the Run to the South, saw heavy losses for the British. Three of their battlecruisers, HMS Indefatigable, HMS Queen Mary, and later HMS Invincible, were destroyed in spectacular explosions after suffering direct hits to their magazines. Despite these losses, Beatty succeeded in drawing the Germans toward Jellicoe's main fleet. As evening approached, Jellicoe executed a textbook deployment of the Grand Fleet, positioning his battleships in a long crescent formation that crossed the path of the advancing Germans, a maneuver known as crossing the T. This allowed the British ships to fire full broadsides while the German fleet could only respond with their forward guns. The intensity of fire forced Scheer to order a series of turns and a bold, smoke-shrouded maneuver known as a battle turn-away to escape total destruction. As night fell, chaotic engagements continued under the cover of darkness. German ships attempted to slip past the British lines and return to their bases. Several close-range night battles erupted, and the confusion led to missed opportunities and further casualties on both sides. When dawn broke on June 1st, the Germans had successfully withdrawn, leaving the British in control of the battlefield but at a heavy cost. In terms of losses, the British suffered more heavily. 14 ships sunk and over 6,000 sailors killed, compared to Germany's 11 ships lost and approximately 2,500 dead. However, the strategic picture was more nuanced. The German fleet never again ventured out in force for a major engagement, remaining largely bottled up for the rest of the war. The British retained naval superiority and continued their blockade, which contributed to Germany's eventual exhaustion and defeat. Jutland was, therefore, a tactical draw but a strategic victory for Britain. It highlighted the difficulty of achieving a decisive naval victory with modern ships and exposed flaws in both fleet's tactics and communications. The battle also underscored the terrifying power of naval artillery and the vulnerability of even the most advanced warships to well-placed shell fire. The Battle of Jutland left a lasting legacy in naval warfare. It spurred changes in ship design, armor placement, and ammunition handling, particularly in British battlecruisers, which had proven dangerously prone to catastrophic explosions. Lessons learned at Jutland influenced naval strategy for decades and set the stage for the future evolution of fleets in World War II, where aircraft carriers and submarines would begin to eclipse the battleship as the dominant force. Though often overshadowed by land battles like the Somme or Verdun, the Battle of Jutland remains a monumental episode in military history, a massive, thunderous encounter at sea that shaped the naval balance of the 20th century. Thanks for racing through history with us on History in a Hurry. If you enjoyed today's quick dive into the past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a fast-paced trip through time. Please reply in the comments with ideas for our next history lesson. See you in the next one.